We're going to go underground now to an undiscovered subterranean London.
Yes, we're off to catch a ride on the Mail Rail, nicknamed the Banana Train. It once carried millions of letters between sorting offices along a 6.5-mile stretch of the city.
And there are now plans for a small section of that route to be opened to the public. Our correspondent David Sillito has had a first glimpse of this lost world, and he joins us from deep underground with the Banana Train. Very good morning.
Good morning. This is the Mount Pleasant Depot, an underground station that very few of us will have seen in person. This 7.5-ton beast has been ploughing up and down underneath the streets of London, unseen, unheard, for 88 years. But now it's going to be open to the public. We're all going to have a chance to ride on part of this secret network, a little bit of Secret Britain. This is Oxford Circus. It's certainly one of the busiest and best known bits of London. However, beneath us, 70 feet below, we have this. 6.5 miles of tunnel, silence, an abandoned railway, a bit of Secret Britain. So this is your world?
Yeah, this is my domain. Yeah, it's like having a giant train set, really. I used to have a train set when I was a boy, so I've upgraded a little bit.
Mount Pleasant Station. You won't find it on the tube map. The railway has one driver and no passengers, apart from today.
OK, Ray, I'm in. We can go now. We're off.
In its heyday, millions of letters trundled through London, but costs rose. It was closed in 2003. You can still see the last day's rota. Since then...
What are these?
These are stalactites. They're the same as grows in a cave.
They're actual stalactites growing.
Yeah, but they're very, very delicate. They grow fast down here, but very delicate. If you stop to think about it, it is an unusual thing to be doing, walking on your own through a tunnel through the middle of London with millions of people around you, and you're on your own. If you turn all the lighting off, it's as dark as it can possibly get. It gets to the point where you would lose your bearings. You start to see red in front of your eyes, which is light coming from your own eyes. And as I say, you can't tell which way is up and which way is down.
However, plans are afoot to reopen this part of the track near Mount Pleasant, a chance to share this strange experience.
The experience of going on the train is really what makes the ride. It's the crampedness of the space inside, the sound of the train as it screeches as it rounds the corners, and that's really what brings it to life.
It snakes unseen, unheard, through Oxford Circus tube station. Just 5 bricks separate it from the Bakerloo line. A parcel's eye view of subterranean London.
Well, we're actually inside. This is the experience you'll have inside this little passenger vehicle. Chris Taft of the British Postal Museum and Archive. How soon before real people get a chance to have this ride?
Well, the British Postal Museum and Archive have been working very hard fundraising to deliver the Postal Museum, which will open in 2016. The ride element will open in this space in 2019. We need to raise another £2 million before the end of March in order to match fund a Heritage Lottery Fund application for a further £4.5 million.
Who do you think is going to come for this ride?
We know already there's a huge interest in this. We know there's a broad audience that this will appeal to. We're targeting family groups, but also it will appeal, of course, to people with specialist interests. But it goes far beyond that.
Right, the proof in the pudding now is actually having a go. Ray, can you set this going? So Ray is the one Mail Rail driver, and bear with us here. We're going to take you as far as we possibly can, down into the bowels of the earth, underneath central London. It goes about 70 feet down. absolutely extraordinary when you go down there, because there are still stalactites coming down. This engine was built 1926. This network, though, they started building it in 1913. However, they stopped during the First World War. They needed the tunnellers for over in France and Belgium, but it opened in the 1920s. And now, I don't know how far our signal takes us. We are heading into the bowels of the earth underneath London. This is the experience you're going to have in 2019, they hope, of the Mail Rail. Not as noisy as we thought it was going to be, but when it turns the corners, prepare yourself for a big squeal. And let's see how far it goes.
All right, David, thanks very much.
Oh,
Amazing how far we got the signal
I
on the
know.
ground, isn't it? Fantastic.
It looks
How exciting.
it's very tiny,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And much more on that on the Breakfast website this morning, a longer version of the
Yes.
journey you just saw.
You're going to have to wait a couple of years before you can actually take that journey yourself.